Hello everyone, I'm greatly honored to be here to share with you some of Chinese culture information. So today we will talk about the art and history of Chinese calligraphy. First of all, I'm trying to introduce myself. Okay, I am Qiao Jianzhen. I'm the director of Portuguese department of Hebei University. And I have been working in Brazil for some 10 years in Confucius Institute. So that is why I'm here, okay, to share with you the art and history of Chinese calligraphy. So in today's lecture, okay, we'll talk about first, okay, about the Chinese characters, some basic information of Chinese characters. And then we try to talk about its origins, and then about evolution of Chinese characters or Chinese writings, okay, in the past 3,000 something like that years. And the second part, okay, we'll talk about the calligraphy, okay, calligraphy and the types of calligraphy. And then in the third part, okay, we talk about the relationship between Chinese calligraphy and the Chinese painting. So they are usually go hand in hand. And in the end, I'll give you a list of references, some videos, some mini videos for you to know more about the Chinese characters, their origins, about the writing brush, things like that.
汉字
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 Okay, so now let's begin with Chinese characters. We say 汉字. We do not say 中字 is not China, because in China, in fact, we have some 56 ethnics, okay, in China. So Han, okay, ethnic Han, okay, is the biggest. So traditional Chinese characters, in fact, are the writing of Han people. So that's why we say 汉字. Okay, different ethnics have their own writings. Okay. So here I put some elements, okay, typical elements. So first you have the writing brush, and they have a book, okay, a traditional Chinese book. And then the picture of bamboo, okay, one of the famous or favorite elements in Chinese painting. And this side, okay, this is a painting, a Chinese painting, a dragon. So we know that dragon is a symbol of China. The Chinese compared, okay, the Great War into a dragon, and we say that we are the descendants of dragons, right? But dragons have different images in different cultures, right? So in the first part about Hanzi, okay, Hanzi, we call it Hanzi. We will talk about the origin, okay? We say Hanzi 的起源, the origin of Chinese characters, and then about the history, okay? About the history of evolution of Chinese characters, and then we try to take a look at how to write. What do we need? Where can we write? Okay? So first, okay, some basic information of Chinese characters. So do you have an idea about the number of Chinese characters? So when people began to study Chinese, okay, this Chinese is difficult. So you are painting of characters, okay, it's difficult, it's impossible. But in comparison with English, which has 600,000 words, something like that, in the third Webster's dictionary. They have some 600,000 words, okay, in English. And in Chinese, okay, we have some 60,000, okay, 60,000 in a dictionary of Kanxi, the most authoritative dictionary in China in ancient times. And in our test, okay, for the foreigners, we call it HSK, okay, 汉语水平考试. So that is the professional test for the foreigners. So for level 1, okay, you just need to know some 150 words. And in level 2, 300. In level 3, 600. And in level 4, 1,200. So that is, okay, some of the Chinese character lists, okay, for the foreigners. And another thing, okay, besides the number of Chinese characters, people sometimes also talk about two writing styles. One is the simplified one, and the other the classified one. Traditionally speaking, education is for the nobles. So the classical writing is a little bit traditional and difficult. It's not that easy for common people, okay, to master it. So since the founding of People's Republic of China in 1949, we passed a process of simplification of the characters to popularize the writing. So now, okay, some 2,000 words have been simplified. So now in the continent of China, we use the simplified Chinese characters, while in Macau, Hong Kong, and Taiwan, okay, they continue to use the classical ones. The classical ones, they are beautiful, but they are difficult for common people, right? And then, okay, another point I want to mention is that, okay, in the United Union, there are 6 official working languages, and the Chinese is one of them. So these are some of the basic informations of Chinese, okay? And then about the origins of Chinese characters. So I wonder if you have any idea about the origin of writing, or the Western writing, something like Latin or Greek or other languages. So the origin of Chinese writing, okay, in fact, passed some more than 4,000 years. You're with the 5,000 years of Chinese characters. At the very beginning, okay, the primitive people didn't know how to read and write, and they also, okay, they did not have the written materials, right? But how to remember, okay, how to remember something happened, okay, one day or something like that. So they try to tie a knot, okay, to symbolize, okay, one thing. But as time goes on, okay, if you have so many knots, you cannot differentiate what does each knot means, right? And then with time goes on, okay, we come to the next stage, the second picture here, a famous figure that is 仓颉. In Chinese, we say 仓颉造字. Okay, 仓颉, in fact, is a legendary scribe of the Yellow Emperor, and he is the creator of Chinese writing. So he created Chinese characters. So Chinese really value a lot of this legend, right, about the origin of Chinese writing. So it is due to 仓颉. Okay? And then let's take a look about the history of Chinese characters. What is the process of evolution? So as time goes on, okay, we can find, okay, some writings in 甲骨文, that is some 3,400 years ago in the late Shang dynasty. Okay? And then we went to the period of 金文, which was written in the bronze or in metals. And then the period of 篆书, okay, that is the period of Jin dynasty, Qin, when Qin Shi Huang united China, united writing, united the weight units. Okay, so that's this period. And then we have Li Shu, we'll talk about that later. Okay, and then continue, we have 草书, something like grass, right? 草书, so you can imagine the writing of 草书, something like grass. Okay. And then 楷书, okay, 楷书 is the most common used one nowadays. And then we have 行书, so these are the process of the writing styles in Chinese. So here I'd like to share with you, okay, about the origin or the earliest writings we have found in China, that is 甲骨文, okay, 甲骨文, the oracle bone inscriptions, or the inscriptions on the bones for oracles, right? So these are before 1,300 years BC in the late Shang dynasty, which has been discovered, okay, in the tomb, in the cemetery. So here, okay, I have some pictures to show you, right, okay, about this 甲骨文. The ancient people used the bones of ox or the turtle, okay, to write. So these are not for the common people. They are used, okay, to foretell, okay, the happenings. In fact, they were used exclusively by the emperors. So these are some of the earliest, okay, writings. And then we come to the period of 金文. So you could figure out here, all of these are written in the bronze or in the metal, especially in bronze, right? During this period from 1,300 years BC to 219, okay, BC. All of these are written in the bronze, okay, including, we say 鼎, okay, we can find a lot of information. But as it is difficult to write in bronze or in metals, it's really difficult, okay, for you to have curves, right? So you can figure out here, all of them are written, in fact, in a direct way. And then we come to the period of the 篆书, okay, 篆书dated back to some 827 years BC. Until now, okay, still people can recognize some of them, okay, who are studying calligraphy, preferred to write in this one. So this is the period when Qin Shi Huang united China, as I said, mentioned. When Qin Shi Huang united China, he wanted the whole country to use the same written system, because before Qin Shi Huang there are more than 7 states. We say 战国七雄, the 7 warring states. When Qin Shi Huang united the whole country, he really preferred, okay, to administer the whole country with the same media, so he united the writing. That is also why nowadays, okay, Chinese characters still existing, still function. That is why we are here to talk about this part, right? And also, Chinese civilization is the only one that is existing, okay, from the earliest period of time to now because of the writing system. The other early civilizations, in fact, or unfortunately, disappeared because their writings disappeared too. Yeah. Here I'd like to share some of these writings, okay, in bamboo. So we are moving forward, okay, from the earliest not writing, so in fact the time notes, okay, to the writings or inscriptions on the bones, to the writings on the bronze or the metals. And now, okay, with time goes on, when we come to the period of Confucius, something like that, okay, we have to use, okay, bamboos, okay, to make books. So that is why here you have all these books, okay, about rules for the students, or all of these, in fact, okay, are written on bamboos. So if you have time, if you are interested to know more about that, you can go to the film of Confucius. So in this film, you could figure out when Confucius traveled with his students, they carried all their books, okay, on a carriage, which were really heavy. Okay. So when they passed the ice, okay, Yan Hui, in fact, okay, died when he went to pick up all the books, okay, in the ice. And in ancient China, we say the ideal, okay, for intellectuals, okay, the ideal life is 行万里路，读万卷书, because in ancient times it is not that easy for you to travel 5,000 kilometers, and it is not that easy for you to own, first of all, 10,000 books, and to keep them, right, to read them. But now it is much easier, right? Nowadays with plane we can travel more than 10 kilometers, okay, within one day, and it's much easier for us to read. Today we do not use this writing materials, so bamboo. We have books on paper, and we have e-books, digital books. That is much more simple. It's easy for you to carry many books, okay, just in your cell phones, okay. So, and then we move on, okay, to the period of clerical script, okay. Clerical script is something like the writing today, okay. This is something about 200 years BC, okay, until now. So here I put some pictures, okay, about 行书, okay, about 楷书, and about 草书, just for you to know the art of writing. You need not care about the meaning of the words. You just try to look at all this writing as a kind of art. So here we can figure out 楷书 is the most regular one, okay. It's the most regular. It's much easier for you to figure out every character. So for 草书, something like grass, it's difficult for you to pick up a grass, okay, from the others. And the 行书 is between them. It's a mixture of 楷书 and 草书, okay. So here I show you the evolution of Chinese characters, okay. That is a historical trace from the earliest period of time to today. So here the first picture is an animal. So that is why, okay, some European friends prefer to say, do all your Chinese know how to draw Chinese characters? We say we do not draw Chinese characters today. We drew, but today now we write. But anyway, okay, Chinese characters originated in drawing. So here you can figure out the evolution of the word, okay, horse. At the very beginning, it is painting. But as time goes on, okay, nowadays we have this ma, we call it ma, right? If you want to know more about the evolution of Chinese characters, okay, I give you two books, two references. One is the Wisdom of Chinese Characters. So this is a series of videos. Okay, every video is with some 10 chapters. Okay, every part is with some 5 minutes. So we have a book, okay, for the Wisdom of Chinese Characters. It tells us, okay, the process or the evolution process of these Chinese characters. And then, okay, here I showed you the evolution of the word sun. At the very beginning, it's a drawing, okay? A round drawing with a dots, which means the lights, right? But as time goes on, okay, to regularize the writing, it became the form today. We call it 日, okay? Even if you do not know the meaning, you can even if you do not know the reading, you can figure out the meaning through the drawing, right? The second character, you could figure out, most of the children began their drawing mountains like this, right? So you have a horizontal level, and then between in this level, you try to show, okay, the existence of mountains. And the last one, of course, is horse, as I showed here, right? But anyway, okay, in these two series of videos or books, they showed us, okay, how does this word evolve. And then here I just put one of the most simple words in Chinese. So from the process, you can figure out the meaning. It means people, right? Or person. So at the very beginning, it's just a picture. Okay, a people, a person was resting, and then today, okay, to form people, we have to help each other. So in the writing of this word 人, okay, we have two strokes. Okay? The two strokes, okay, lean against each other. That means to be a person, you have to help each other. Okay? Without the other stroke, you are not, okay, a person, right? And then, okay, here, this is a process of the evolution of the word sun. So on the left, okay, is a painting. Is a picture of sun. And then, okay, with time goes on, people showed with sun, always we have clouds. So they draw sun and the clouds, and then they put the clouds in the circle, right? So today we just have these squared characters, 日, okay? The same goes with the next word. So you can figure out, okay, at the painting that it means moon, right? So this is also something, okay, to show the process or the evolution of some of the most common used characters. And then here you have the word, okay, mountain. So it's nowadays in Chinese painting, we continue to paint like this, right? We draw water, because water and the mountain usually goes hand in hand, okay, in a beautiful picture or a beautiful painting. So for the Chinese, okay, who believes in feng shui, we say if you have mountain, if you have water, you have a good location, right? So this is the Chinese painting, okay? And then the second picture, okay, showed that the word, okay, of stone. How does the word stone, okay, become into its form today? Okay? And then about the word water. So to be water, you have a lot of dots. It's a river, right? In a river, you have these dots. So as time goes on, it's turned into its form today. Okay? And the same goes with fire. At the very beginning, you have to light a fire to cook your food. But as time goes on, okay, they just put the 2 dots on the 2 sides of the fire. So that is the word fire. About the word carriage, it's really difficult. It's a difficult painting, right? For you to draw the wheels of the carriage. But anyway, okay, nowadays it is not that difficult, right? We cannot figure out the influence of wheels in the word of 车. Nowadays we call it 车, right? We have bicycles, we say 自行车. We have car, okay? We have train. So anyway, we use this word as the basic element to form into new words. And then to travel in water, to travel in river, to travel in ocean, we need boat. So the word boat at the very beginning is really a painting. It's really difficult for me. Okay, it's nearly impossible for me to draw a boat. I'm not good at drawing. So I prefer to write the word 周 as today, right? So that is something about the origin of the Chinese characters, about the evolution.
书法，
书法，
Chinese calligraphy, 书法, refers to writing art and techniques with writing brushes. 1,600 years ago, a boy named Wang Xizhi worked hard on calligraphy. He washed his writing brushes in a pool, and the pool turned black. Eventually, he became a prominent calligrapher in China. Writing brushes, Chinese inks, rice paper, and ink slabs are the basic tools of calligraphy. Proper technique for handling the writing brushes and maintaining the proper angle between the tips of brushes and the paper are required. The structure of each individual character and overall arrangement are both important. Calligraphers have created plenty of masterpieces which have been passed from generation to generation. One of the masterpieces is the Orchid Pavilion Preface by Wang Xizhi. 书法 represents the aesthetic taste and philosophy of Chinese scholars.
书法，
书法。
And now let's try to figure out the calligraphy. So calligraphy is the art of writing, okay? Especially in Chinese writing, we call it calligraphy. So in China, we have the culture, we have the tradition, and we value this culture, we value this tradition. And universities, in fact, some of the universities have majors of calligraphy. In my university, for example, okay, in Hebei Normal University, we are one of the earliest, okay, to offer majors of calligraphy. So we have 4 years of calligraphy major, and also we have master degree for major. So yesterday, in fact, I read information from China Ministry Education. So calligraphy has turned into a part of art. So you could figure out that the Chinese really valued a lot of the function of our tradition, of this writing value, right? Our traditional writing a lot. So calligraphy, in fact, is the traditional art of Chinese writing. Okay, we treat it as an art, especially today. Okay, it's not obligatory for you to practice all these kinds of writing styles. But if you want to be a calligraphy major, you have to know that, you have to study that, because you study at least 4 years of calligraphy, right? So if you study calligraphy, you become an artist. Okay? So calligraphy, in fact, underwent the evolution. So between the creation and the development, it has become an artistic expression of remarkable peculiarity. So we could not find the calligraphy in the Western languages such as English or French or Portuguese, but in Chinese, yes. And also we see something in the Far East, as something like in Japan, in South Korea. They also treasure a lot of calligraphy. So now in China, we have majors, we have master degree. And the most commonly used calligraphical styles are 篆书, 隶书, 楷书, 草书, and 行书, as we talked before. So now I try to introduce 5 styles of calligraphy. So here you could figure out 篆书, it is the characteristic model in the Qin dynasty. So that is between 221 to 206 BC, a very short period. For Qin Shi Huang united the country and he united the writing. So that is why China, the civilization of China continued until now, right? The other ancient civilizations has disappeared also because they do not have the continuity of their writing. And then we have 隶书, during the Han Dynasty, that is between 202 and 202 BC to 220 AD. So the writing known as 楷书, as we can figure out here, the 楷书 is really formal, rectangular, it's revolved from 隶书. It is with direct or straight strokes, right? And the 草书 also called cursive. All of these strokes are cursives. So it is a calligraphy style of rapid strokes. You write it really happily. And 楷书, and it is based on the forms of the 隶书 and the 楷书. It's a mixture. And the 行书, the fact, is a mixture of 楷书 and the 草书. So we just have a basic idea of the differences between these writing styles, these 5 writing styles of calligraphy. And besides, I'd like to introduce some of the famous calligraphers in China. Anyone in China, when we begin our school, our schooling, we try to know these names. First is Wang Xizhi, the biggest, the most famous, the most influential calligrapher. He and his family. Another one is Ouyang Xun. Another one is Yan Zhenqing from Tang Dynasty, and Liu Gongquan is also. So here, you have all these greatest calligraphies in Chinese history. Here I put this preface of the orchid pavilion. We call it a Lan Tian Xu. This is a masterpiece of Wang Xizhi. So this is closely connected to the story. So one day, some poets, they get together and they write poets. They write paintings, and in the end, they want to get together all these poems. So they asked Wang Xiji to write a preface. So this is the origin. Okay, so nowadays we have the original copy, I think, in the museum in Beijing. And then when we write, okay, we need the instrument. So here the four office treasures, we call it 文房四宝. What are the instruments, okay, we use? First is the writing brush. We call it a 笔. There are some famous marks, okay, of writing brush. Another one is ink. Okay, we call it 墨. Okay, the most famous black, okay, is produced in Anhui province. We call it 徽墨. And then we have the paper. We call it 宣纸 because it is made of rice. Okay? And the fourth is ink well or ink stone. We call it 砚 or 砚台. So these are the four office treasures that Chinese until today, okay, we treasure a lot. And then another thing, okay, I want to mention is Chinese calligraphy is closely connected with Chinese painting. Or we can say, without Chinese calligraphy, Chinese painting would not exist. So three elements here, okay, I put it here, a combination of calligraphy, Chinese painting, and poem. So we have a lot of materials like this, especially of the poems from Tang Dynasty. So first you write the poem, and then the poem is closely connected with a kind of picture or kind of message, right? And then you write it and you put your signature. Okay? So Chinese calligraphy, in fact, is the national treasure of China. And as I mentioned, it is not available in other languages. So the Chinese are really proud of it. And they have a small poem to prove it. They say China has a national treasure, but there is none in the world in other languages. So we're really proud of this treasure, which has passed from generations to another, right? And this is a picture to show you about the writing instrument. We call it 毛笔. 毛笔 can be writing brush, a kind of brush, right? We have many kinds of types of writing brush. It depends on the purpose, it depends on the size, okay? It depends on the material, and they have different prices. So we have some marks, very famous. So here I put this picture of 毛笔, okay, a 湖笔. There are more than 200 types of 毛笔. Okay?
毛笔
毛笔
More than 2,000 years ago, a general returned from hunting and was inspired by the tail of a rabbit. He cut off the tail and stuck it into a bamboo drain, making the first writing brush. Unlike other writing tools, it is difficult to write with writing brushes. Writing Hanzi with soft 毛笔 represents Oriental philosophy. It is regarded as a method to cultivate the mind and nature, and widely used among scholars. Writing became an art called calligraphy with the birth of 毛笔. Maobi is a friend of Chinese scholars, making records of their
毛笔
毛笔
And then we have a picture here, okay, about the 笔架. So this is a support, okay, this is a place where we put our brush. We do not use it, right? And then I put a ink, okay, this is the traditional ink. We call it mo, okay. So these are the modern ones, are much more easy. They are in liquids, okay. So you need not to practice, okay, the traditional way nowadays. And then I put here, okay, this very famous mark, we call it the Hui Mo. Okay. This dates back from Tang Dynasty, that is 618 to 907. So this mark has a history of more than 1,000 years. Okay. So today it's much more easier, right? You can buy it on the website of Taobao. Nearly all kinds of writing materials. So it is really convenient. So in Chinese painting, Chinese writing, okay, calligraphy, we have a special kind of paper, we call it 宣纸. It is made of rice.
拣选，将经过处理的原材料再次挑选，扔掉发黑发霉的树皮草料，只留下最优质的原料。将拣选好的树皮草料放在石臼中，用木对反复对打，使植物纤维进一步分丝肘化。切皮，冲捣而成的皮纸会被叠起来，利用特制的老刀进行细致的切割，一片片皮纸被切成小小方条。踏料，切好的皮料和草料放入料缸里，加清水赤脚踩踏，使纤维进一步纯粹柔软。带料，踩完后的皮料装在棉布袋中，经半小时反复冲荡，将加工过程中的灰尘、杂质通过布袋细缝将其过滤出去，把加工好的皮料和草料按比例放入捞纸槽里，加入猕猴桃汁，用槽棍用力搅匀。捞纸，纸工双人抬帘，纸帘左右分别斜插入水后抬正，使纸浆均匀分布于帘上。掌帘师傅提起纸帘，转身倒扣在炸纸床的湿纸垛上，快速揭去纸帘，一张带压榨的湿纸就留在纸垛上了。晒纸，压榨好的半干纸帖放到烘纸架上，再将一张湿纸从纸帖上揭下，转身用纸刷刷到烘纸背墙上，烘干后揭下。剪纸，工人对着光逐张检验晒好的纸，不合格的直接撕掉。一株青檀经10几道工序，就成了张张齐展展的宣纸。
So I just put it here because we have different types, different marks, different qualities, different prices of 宣纸. If you are a master, maybe you use the expensive ones. But if you are a beginner like me, okay, we just buy the cheapest ones, okay, for us to practice, right? But nowadays, if you do not want to spend money on 宣纸, if you want to practice easily, also we have paper like this. We call it, okay, 水写纸, okay, water writing paper. You can practice on it many times. Okay? And then writing is also closely connected with folding fans. The intellectuals, okay, or traditional intellectuals really treasure it a lot. Folding fans is a symbol of their social status. So today, in China, folding fans with calligraphy or and with painting usually is a good present, okay, for foreigners or for those who treasure it. And about this inkstone, okay, I showed you here we call it yantai. So this yantai has a history of more than 3,000 years. Okay, we have 4 well-known marks. So here you could figure out it's not just a stone. Okay, it is with decorations of dragons. So inkstone like this, okay, is not that cheap. It's a piece of art. Okay. So these are the traditional ones. When you begin your writing, you have to put water and then you use this bar to just push to produce ink. It's really the first step for ancient students to begin their study. But today, it is much easier, right? With industrialization, life is much easier and the calligraphy practice is also. So here I just showed different kinds of ink well. You have different sizes, different materials, okay, different decorations, so with different prices, right? And how to write. First, okay, different from the Western writing style, to write with a writing brush. You have to pick it up vertically. So that's something basic. This is the proper way. Okay, this is a proper way. So it's interesting. The Westerners, okay, when they pick up forks or knives, they got it in horizontal one, right? But in China, we use chopsticks in a vertical one, and also we use writing brush in the vertical one. Okay, and where do they write? It's difficult to imagine. Usually we think they write on paper, but today they prefer a way to mix writing, mix calligraphy with body exercise, so they can write on the square ground. Okay, with writing brush like this is a kind of practice, okay, physical exercise, and they can write with 2 hands. So in fact, one time, okay, in my community, I really met, okay, an old man who was writing with 2 hands on the playground, not the playground, the square ground. So this is a picture that we took. Okay. Also, you can write in study or in a classroom, okay, at the students, right? You can write in different places. Okay. And then with what? Today, we do not need to spend a lot of money to practice on 宣纸, because that is expensive. That is also a source of pollution, right? So we can use this water writing paper. You can write as many times as you can. Okay. And then here I showed you a piece of art of calligraphy. This is a poem written by Mao Zedong, okay, Chairman Mao, when it snowed, okay, in the north of China. So this is really a poem very popular in China. And then for this, can you figure out it is painting or it is writing? So sometimes we mix, okay, painting and writing. So this is really a painting and writing mixture with the spirit of dragon and horse. We call it 龙马精神. When we say 龙马精神, it means that you are full of spirit. Okay, so really wish you have 龙马精神 in the coming year of tiger, right? So this is another way of writing, calligraphy. Okay? And then calligraphy and Chinese painting. So you can figure out calligraphy is always, okay, together with Chinese painting. Chinese painting, okay, individually does not exist. So usually they have painting and they write some words or some sentences or a poem. And in the end, okay, they write the date with the signature and they put the steps. So this is a complete piece of work of Chinese painting. So painting, poem, signature, and step. So 4 elements. Okay? So this is another one of bamboo. In Chinese painting, the most popular elements or topics are nature. So the plants, flowers, mountains, rivers, animals, all of these, in fact, okay, are favorite topics of Chinese painting. So here you can figure out, okay, another poem with bamboo, and another one with pine, okay. And then this is writing. This is also a painting. So can you figure out? It seems like an animal, right? So that is the horse, okay? So you can figure out the head, okay, and the tail. So, but anyway, this is simple, but it's a complete painting writing with signature, with stamps, right? And the coming year, okay, so we are coming to the end, right? In the coming year, the coming 2022, in the Chinese calendar, okay, lunar calendar, is the year of tiger. So we have 12 animals, okay, in circles of every 12 years. So Chinese, in fact, treasure it a lot, okay, of this part we call it horoscope or zodiac, right? So I put it here, okay, two pictures from sites, okay, to show, okay, the Chinese culture on the one hand, okay, to show the best wishes of the Chinese to the whole world. So you mix, okay, a painting, okay, with Chinese characters. We call it 中国年, year of China of tiger year, right? And the second picture, okay, you can figure out the tiger is, okay, here he can fly it maybe, okay, and he is together with the word 新年快乐, Happy New Year, okay, Happy New Year. So I really wish you have a new year, okay, Happy New Year first of all, the Western year, and then we, on the 4th of February, will be the Spring Festival of China, or you can say Chinese New Year. So Happy Chinese New Year to all of you. Or we say 虎年春节快乐. So in the end, I put here some exercise for you to assist when you have time, okay. Some videos from Hello China again, okay, for this 100 series, a mini video, some 2 or 3 minutes to introduce China. So here I put the part of calligraphy with a 书法 and the writing brush, 毛笔. We can try to figure out the origin of 毛笔, okay? And then about Chinese characters. So in the end, about 国画, okay, Chinese painting. So these are the exercises for this class. And then if you have more time, you can continue with the wisdom of Chinese characters, 5,000 years of Chinese characters, about the origin, okay, about the beauty of calligraphy.
第1集，汉字从远古走来。汉字由简单的笔画构成，古老而又展现了中国人的智慧。4大文明古国：古巴比伦、古中国、古印度、古埃及，都有自己的文字。但只有中国的汉字，一直到今天仍然在使用。汉字是怎么产生的呢？传说有个远古的帝王叫伏羲，他画出了神秘的八卦图。 分别表示天、地、水、火、山、泽、风、雷8种事物，由此产生了汉字。还有一个传说，有个叫仓颉的人，他有4只眼睛，非常聪明，擅长绘画。他仔细观察万物形态，用不同的形状代表不同的事物，于是创造了象形汉字。现在发现最早的汉字是甲骨文，3000多年前的甲骨文是刻写在龟甲和兽骨上的汉字。甲骨文是一种什么样的文字呢？请猜猜，这些是什么字？对了，它们是山、水、日、月、大、人。在发明纸之前，汉字还出现在竹简和丝帛上。写上汉字的竹简编起来，就成了册。这是典，像2只手举着竹简，表示重要的文献和书籍。你看，汉字多像一幅幅图画。中国古人还将汉字刻写在各种器物上。这是中国印。
So these are the references. Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, really wish you have a fruitful Tiger Year of 2025. Okay, thanks. Welcome to China.